Good evening. My name is Tammy. I'm the leader here at Singles Travel International, and it's Travel Talk. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. We're here online meeting other singles who are over 50 and having a good time and learning about new destinations. And tonight we have Denise Fraind from Avalon Waterways. She just came back from Germany and Luxembourg, where she was on one of their beautiful all suite vessels on the Moselle River. And we're going to be there in 5 weeks. And so, if you're still interested, we wanted to say tonight, look how awesome this is. It's wine season. And if you know anything about wines, Germany has some of the best wines in the world. And of course, Luxembourg is one of those places that not everybody gets to. So, with that, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Denise. Hello, Denise. Welcome.
Hey there, how are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. And we have some singles in the house tonight who might be asking some questions. So let's get the ball rolling.
All right. Well, so this is very informal. What Tammy and I thought that we would do is, like she said, a little show and tell, and just tell you a little bit about the trip. I just got back a couple weeks ago, and I am just going to keep this old school, show you my photos, and they're not in any random order, but just kind of show you the ship, show you the itinerary, and what you'll see along the river. So this is the Moselle from Luxembourg to Frankfurt. And when you look at these itineraries and these rivers and how they flow and how a river cruise works, you see all of those towns along the river. You know, back in the 80s, they finished all the locks so you could flow from river to river. So you do go through quite a bit of locks on this to get you up, down, and to keep on going down the river. And what's nice about the river cruises is that you dock, you get off, you're right there. This one, you're right in town, you know, unless we have to motor coach for some of it because it's a big city like Luxembourg. But for the most part, you just roll off. These are all walking tours that are all included in the price. You have a little bud in your ear. Your guide has a headset like what I have on, and you can hear your guide. So I'm just going to show you just a little bit about what I saw on this. I've been on the Moselle, but it was like 20 years ago, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And what's different about this itinerary, the name of it is Active and Discovery, but it's pretty funny because Active and Discovery cruises actually cruise a lot during the day. So you're more leisurely on an Active and Discovery cruise, right? How does that work, right? So when you look at this itinerary, see like Trier, Bernkastel, Cochem, the area between the distance between the two towns is very short. So what you do is you cruise during the day. And you're going to see a lot of my photos here. They're during the day as we were cruising. And it's nice because some river cruises, you have a further distance to go. So you cruise at night to get there during the day. And some people complain about that because they want to have the cruise experience. So let's just get looking at here at some of these pictures that I took. So this is actually towards the end of the cruise when you go into the Rhine. This is the Rhine Gorge area. I just took a bike on my own. We have 12 bikes on board. That's for every ship, every itinerary. And we have 2 e-bikes, so we can all fight each other for the e-bikes, right? But I chose to take a regular bicycle. I try to bike as much as I can at home. So, I mean, look at this. Look at the castles in the background. This was just on a regular bike path along the Rhine, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
Denise, I was going to mention something too. If you're up for it, one of the benefits of those port cities being so close to one another is that you could actually take the bike from city to city, disembark in one place, and ride the bike to another city. Is that correct,
Oh
Denise?
yeah, exactly. On the trip, you know, when we were on the adventure host, so all of our ships have adventure hosts. The adventure host actually took a bunch of people, and that's exactly what they did. It's kind of funny, you know, these river boats are very small, so they can really pull over anywhere. So we just randomly pull over and we pick people up. So it was funny because as we were cruising down the river, you could see the people riding their bike because we don't go that fast. And we had to go through locks. So we could see them the entire time going down the river. I was going to go, but I was whistling out because it was like 100 degrees. And I'm like, and two people already took the e-bike. So I went, you know what? I think I'll just cruise. So they ended up at the end at a bar. We bought them beer and we just pulled over in this town and picked them up. But we do have bikes on board. Like Tammy said, you can take a bike and go for a ride. But we do have bike excursions. If that's something that you really want to do, and it's some of the excursions to pick from, which they are in here, I would recommend booking it before you go, just because they can fill up. This departure is almost sold out. Tammy and I just looked this a couple days ago, and there's about 6 cabins left for September 25th. So, we'll talk about the singles and what we have at the end for you guys, but yeah, it's almost full. So if there is an excursion, when you look at the itinerary that you really want to do, I would definitely book it ahead of time. This is part of my bike ride that I just did on my own. And this is a part of the Rhine Gorge. And you'll see here. So this kind of hops on the ship. We have one main lounge. All 166 people can fit in here, plenty of room. That's a difference with Avalon. We average 150 people on board. You can't really see it, but you see all the way on the left-hand side, you see the cups there. That's a cappuccino maker. It has cappuccino, lattes, hot chocolate, which is really good, but it's probably going to be warm. So you might not want the hot chocolate, but the cappuccino's to die for. We have a club lounge that's in the back of the ship. There's another cappuccino maker, free. Just hit the magic button and you get a nice cappuccino. What we have for beer and wine is included for lunch with refreshments. Dinner, beer and wine and refreshments are included for dinner. And then we have happy hour, which is 2 for 1, an hour before dinner or an hour after dinner. And Tammy, you're the first one to hear this, I just heard that it will be included for next year, happy hour. The drinks will be included for happy hour. So you better drink fast in an hour.
Yeah, and that's great. Thank you. And also there's a mini grand piano on most of the suite ships now, right? With an entertainer who's
so they took that out. Sorry.
Okay.
So what happened was people were actually complaining about the entertainer. So so they have entertainment that comes on board. In a week, they'll have 2 or 3 nights of the entertainment. And then what they do is they have a playlist. And what people do is they usually just karaoke on their own. People were just complaining about the entertainer. So now they just went to a playlist. And those of you that have been on Avalon, a lot of people go to bed after dinner, because it's 2 excursions a day. And if you're getting all that fresh air, there's usually not a ton of people in the lounge. But usually the ones that are in the lounge, I know with you guys. So it was funny because I was on with a group of people a couple weeks ago. And then I was on again on another one in April. And my friends and we just did karaoke every night. It was a lot of fun. So that's usually what you see is somebody just grabs the playlist and they start, doing their own thing. But what's nice you'll see here with the main lounge is that this whole floor to ceiling windows, this is throughout the whole ship, the cabin, the ships. It's absolutely gorgeous. Plenty of room in here. It's just beautiful. You have an area on the back of the lounge here. You're funny, Tammy. I'm the same way. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot. So at the back of the main lounge, there's a whole seating area back there outside. So you have all these different levels of where we have seating. In the back of the main lounge here is where we also have the light lunch and we also have a light dinner in addition to the dining room. So you have choices of, where you can go for your meals. So here's a picture of the whole lounge. In the back there, you can see some people back there. That's where we have tables for the light lunch and the light dinner. A lot of people like going there just because it's quiet. It's not so much food. If you don't want to sit down for dinner for a couple hours, you can go back here. It has the same items that are on the menu, but just, you know, salad, soup, you know, not as much. You can still get beer and wine back here during lunch and dinner. You'll see a dance floor right there in the middle, and on the left-hand side there is a piano, but the guy's not playing it, but there is a piano there, so if somebody does want to play. This is just one of my pictures at sunset. When we were cruising through Germany, I thought it was pretty. So this is actually in Koblenz. So what's interesting about this is you can see the ship right there. It's the first one there. That is the Moselle. The river on the left-hand side, that's the Rhine. So that's where the Moselle and the Rhine meet. So that is the meeting place. So what's nice about all of these towns that you go to is that you have all of these different types of excursions that you can do. Like in Koblenz, and I wrote a few down. You can either just take a walking tour in Koblenz, or a beer tour, or a guided hike. There you go. Mark's going to do the beer tour. And this just shows you, even though it's like an active and discovery cruise, you do not need to be active. You can do your own thing. And we have plenty of other excursions. But what's nice is that all of these excursions are included in the price.
And just for clarification, and I don't, maybe it's super clear for everybody, but you get a choice of each of those three styles in every stop. And sometimes you're able to do more than one. That question comes up, not always, but you know, anything that you really want to book, like Denise said, book it in advance. And if there's an opportunity to do a second one, then there's no problem adding it if the timing works out.
Right. And even the included excursions, I would definitely sign up for those prior, if there's one that you really want to do. This one has a lot of castle tours.
We also added, whenever we do an international program, we have what we call our singles travel signature experience, where we include one very nice excursion, usually something that you may not be able to get, although in this case it's one of your paid excursions to Ertz Castle.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Did you do that one while you were there?
I did. It was wonderful.
All right. Anything that you want to share with, or maybe you have a picture of it? We'll see.
You know what? I don't have a picture of it. It was gorgeous though. You know, all the castles on this trip were beautiful. They had Frankenstein's castle, Ertz castle, Kokum, there's another castle. So, I mean, they're all just amazing. So you're going to love that experience. But yeah, there's just, you know, somebody in Koblenz, they just took the day and they just did their own castle tour. And that's one thing too that you can do. If you don't want to do, like in Koblenz, you can do a guided hike, a beer tour, or a walking tour. You could just not do any of them, right? And do your own thing if you want to. And some people did that because there were a whole bunch of castles that were right in the area. So one thing too in Koblenz, if you want to do, I did this and I do not like heights, but we went, and you can take this gondola up to the fort. So there's a fort up at the top. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you have plenty of time. The ship is docked just on the opposite side of this. So you can just walk on over and do the cable car ride, and you have plenty of time to do that. This is that point where you have the Rhine and Moselle that meet. You can see everybody. This guy was hanging around for a while. So finally his wife took a picture of him. So, but this is that point where the rivers meet. There's another castle. So this is all right there that you can see from Koblenz. Here is the top of the ship. So you'll see there's a lot of seating that you have up on the top. They had a lot of this pulled down just because of the bridges. On this river, we have to watch with the bridges. So you'll see they'll take down some of these kind of the tops, you know, that have shade for you, but they put them back up.
Canopies.
Thank you. Canopies. Yep. And this is just in one of the churches in Koblenz. The big highlight are these stained glass windows. You cannot see it all here with the pictures I took, but they were absolutely gorgeous. This here is in Kokum. So Kokum, what you can do is you can also, there are like 4 or 5 different excursions that you can do. You can take a cruise and cruise to the next port if you don't want to stop here because they're going to move the ship. Or you could take a bike tour. There's a guided walk and there's a mustard tour. So my friend that I went is obsessed with mustard and she insisted that we do the mustard tour. I have to tell you, I never knew mustard burned your eyes. So, but it was pretty interesting how they take the seeds and they make mustard and you can buy mustard. So that was like one of 3 excursions, but there was another one that you could do in the afternoon. What you can also do, and you have time, is walk up to the castle. See this sidewalk to the left here? You just go up and follow the signs and it takes you up to the castle. And that was actually one of the excursions too, that they will take you with the local or with the adventure host and take you up to the castle.
Denise, it made me think, and I hope this is still okay, but when I think of Germany, I think of sausages.
Oh, yeah.
And one year we did, this was many, 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 many years ago, but we brought on a chef and a wine sommelier on one of your cruises. And they owned a restaurant and they brought their clients and our singles and everybody was together. And they were bringing food on board to do tastings for us. And so,
nice.
So the food on board Avalon is wonderful. And maybe CJ, our concierge, would do this. She may say, everybody bring a little specialty from this town and let's meet up on deck and have a little happy hour with, some sausage and some mustard and maybe some other delicacies. The
pretzels.
Yes, and the pretzels.
I have to tell you, we started day 1 at the airport in Frankfurt. We bought some pretzels and then started, because we changed planes in Frankfurt and headed to Luxembourg. So we started day 1 buying the pretzels, and they have just the regular pretzels, but then they also have so much cheese on it. Yes. and I love chocolate covered waffles. And I actually found a place that had chocolate covered waffles, even though that's not a German thing, but I still found them. This is just a picture of the ship. So what you'll also start seeing is the scenery down the Moselle. It's funny because I did a river cruise at the end of April and I did the lower Danube, and I told the cruise director I was doing this trip in July. Funny thing is he said, yeah, I'm not the cruise director on that itinerary yet. He said, but it is the most beautiful river. And guess what? He ended up being our cruise director. Something happened with one of the cruise directors. They were sick, so he filled in, and he sees me, he's like, oh no, you again. But look at this from the cabin. So this is from my cabin. I took it from the bed because the beds face out. So I'm sitting in the bed and I took a picture of this, and it's the beautiful vineyards. So this is from the club lounge, which in back of the club lounge, there's also some seats outside. And this just, see all these vineyards and the castles. And what's incredible is when you look in the background, and some of these, when you go down the Moselle, there's a certain section, it is the steepest area for these vineyards. And they have ropes and they have to pull themselves up the ropes to get the grapes. And it's amazing how they get this all off. So this is the club lounge that's in the back of the ship. It's absolutely beautiful with the scenery. Again, the floor to ceiling windows. Back there is also the cappuccino maker.
And Denise, how fast are the vessels traveling?
Oh,
or how slow, actually?
Yeah, I mean, they really are only going about 10 miles an hour.
Okay, and so it's very relaxing, guys. So you can see there's windows everywhere and beautiful scenery, and you're sitting having a coffee, a tea, a drink, whatever, and it's just so peaceful.
Yeah, I should have put on here, but it was pretty funny because the last trip I went on, it was kind of a work trip. So I had my laptop sitting there with this scenery in the background. I'm like, not a bad office day today, right? So not too shabby. Here you go. Here's what it's all about, right? So there is a certain section of the Moselle called the Oxbow Bend, and you go around this curve. So this was a part of that Oxbow Bend, and it's a pretty big curve. And when you ever look at pictures of the Moselle, that's where you see the pictures from above, and the ship is going through this curve. There you go. There you go. There's all the vineyards. It's absolutely beautiful. This was actually in Trier at night. Absolutely gorgeous. This is from the bridge that was up above. And again, that just kind of shows you how, we dock right in town. This is still in Trier. And here we are cruising down the river. I was going to try to show one video, but I wasn't sure how it would show. Up on the top deck is also a hot tub. Big area to go up there and sit. This was another one of my bike rides I decided to go on when we were in Kokum. And look at that. Absolutely beautiful with all the vineyards, rode through. It was like 100 degrees, so I didn't go very far. I think I went maybe 4 miles up, 4 miles back, but it was beautiful. So this is in Castle. And again, all of these, you have local guides. So you also have 3 different excursions that you can pick from. This was just the guided tour that we had. You can also take a wine tour, or you can go with the adventure hosts and hike up to the castle. So those are the 3 different types of excursions. Check out that building. That's in Castle. Little lopsided. Had to throw in a picture of the beer steins, right? So lots of good shopping in Castle. We were there for quite some time, so you have some time to get your bratwurst and get your pretzels. They had some good desserts there too. And this is the Avalon Imagery II. That's the same ship that you'll be on. And again, there's only a couple cabins left. And here we are docked at night. This just kind of shows you how we can randomly pull over. This was at night. We were in town. They wanted to pick us up further down the river, so they motor coached us into town. I'm trying to think which town we were in. And we just pulled up. This was actually in the front of a church. We just randomly pulled over, and they threw the gangplank down, and we got on. So everybody that I was with, they have never been on a river cruise, and they're like, this is like a mystery cruise. This is great because you never know when you're going to pull off to drop somebody off, pick people up. It is so much fun. There's another.
Also,
go ahead.
Sorry,
Yep.
just to, many of our travelers are on the big ocean cruises, and we rarely have an overnight anywhere. So that's part of, especially me being a foodie. A lot of us are foodies that travel. We know that we have dinner included here, but we also have the opportunity to get off and have dinner in a small little quaint town that really it's a small river town. It's not a big tourist town like some of the places that you get off on the big ships. So it makes it so unique and special.
Yeah. And all of these ships are, it's funny because this is the Imagery II. So a few years old, I, in April, took a tour of our brand new ship, the View. You cannot tell the difference between the brand new ship and a ship that's like 5 or 7 years old. During COVID, they retrofitted everything with USB outlets, and they made everything so it looked all brand new, and you really can't tell if it's a couple years old. Once like furniture, like in the club lounge, once that furniture gets worn, they'll swap it all out. So again, it looks brand new. There's your bartender there in the back with the bar, and then also you see your cappuccino maker right there. So that's your main lounge. How to put a picture of food, right? This is Oberweis. This is in Luxembourg. This place was awesome. Luxembourg was absolutely gorgeous, and we had a walking tour of Luxembourg. And this is when we left the first day from Luxembourg. Check out the sunset. And this is also from the cabin. So these cabins are 200 square feet with the beds facing out. So you have plenty of room, floor to ceiling, sliding glass door. You have space underneath the bed. You can put your suitcase underneath there, but there's plenty of closet space. There's a refrigerator in the cabin. This was the group I was with, so we had a lot of fun. And that's about it, Tammy. So yes, there is only 5 cabins left. So Tammy, if you want to tell them about what we have with the cabins and for singles.
Sure, Denise. I don't want to take away that picture because that is what, you know, you see it's a variety of ages. I mean, we specialize in 50 plus. And so we have 50s, 60s, 70s. It looks like you have a very wide age range. And usually on the river cruises, sometimes people think, oh, they're for old people, but you see they're not. It's for everybody who wants to have a good time and stay active or just relax and have a good time. Well, let me show you guys then what I have. I'll stop the screen with Denise and give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that I get up to our Singles Travel International site. Give me a second. There we go. There, okay. So if you guys have any questions, does anybody have any questions though right now for Denise?
Oh, Mark, you're muted. I don't know if you wanted to
I was
ask.
just gonna say that.
What I was actually saying is let me unmute.
Sure, no problem.
So just like a real mundane logistics question.
Yes.
Is there any laundry facility for passengers?
Yes. We send it out.
Okay.
And then it just comes back the next day. So there is a small fee. It's not too bad. It's a couple dollars for each item.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really reasonable. And I put a blog, a link inside the chat for everybody today. If you want to grab that, it's an article that I wrote after the last river cruise that I was on in October. And I may have a picture of that. If not, I probably have it, but it was very, very reasonable. Maybe $3 to $4 for a pair of slacks or a shirt. Not bad at all.
I know, me too. I thought I took a picture of it and now I don't know if I did.
Yeah, but you can trust us. And you know, here's the great thing about a river cruise, which, you know, when you think about it and you add it all up, when you go home, your credit card bill is probably going to be zero because everything's included. So even including your gratuities, when you do a group with us, your gratuities are included to the cruise staff and to the guides that are in town. Denise was talking about all these excursions that you're doing, and we saw these castles and beautiful places. Well, the history unfolds because every guide, it's not one guide that takes you through. We have our concierge, who's the social director for you. And then in each little town, a separately hired guide will come up to the vessel, meet you. And as Denise said, everybody gets a little personal headset. It's your own headset for the entire cruise. You keep it with you. It's got a little battery and it clips on you, and I guess in your ear, I recall. And you know, it changes. You can change it from right ear to left ear. If it starts, you know, you start to feel it. It's I don't know what the word is for that, but it goes both ways. And so it's just so comfortable. And you're going to meet these guides, and they're experts and passionate about their area. And your gratuities are included for them as well. So you have your food, your drinks, your excursions, your gratuities. And now starting next year of happy hour, because that's where I spent a couple bucks on happy hour. But if that's included next year, then you really could almost get home with a zero credit card bill. So
yeah, my bill at the end of the one I just was on was $13.
Yeah. So sometimes it may seem like, you know, a bigger price for the experience going in. but I would challenge anybody to take another cruise with less amenities included, and then look at your bill when you get home, or think about it. If you truly think about everything that you spent on vacation, they're not going to be that much different. Robin, I think, has a question, and let me.
I unmuted myself.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Is air flight included from here?
No, air flight is going to be additional. And, everybody in our membership comes from other parts of the world, the US, Canada, and we do have some global guests. So everybody would be responsible for their own air. So I'm showing a demonstration of our website here. I bumped it up for everybody to see, but this is just the all trips button. So I clicked on cruises, and then I wanted you to see that you are able to look at all of our departures on Avalon Waterways by just clicking on the trip activities section here in the drop down. I meant to highlight that. So I'm going to click on the drop down and choose Avalon Waterways. And then if I click on find trips, it will isolate all of my vacations, or all of our vacations that are on Avalon Waterways. So we have the Wine Lovers Singles Cruise on the Moselle that's coming up. So it's in 5 weeks. There's still time. If you're interested in joining us, you would click learn more to see more information about the vacation, what's included. I'll actually just show you. Let's see. Sometimes it runs slow on Zoom meetings, but you click on learn more, and there's a navigation bar here that shows you everything from what's included, what the itineraries, frequently asked questions, and then 2 unique things about Singles Travel International. When you join one of our vacations, you have a trip chat, and you have privacy to discuss the details of your vacation with the other members of your trip, and nobody else has access to that section. You also, on all of our trips, have access to see who's going before you even make your investment, to see if it's my kind of crowd, is this the kind of group I want to do. And of course, sometimes when there's only one person booked, everybody waits, but I guarantee that, once you join, and once 2 or 3 people book, and 4 people book, and 6 people book, and it tumbles like that. So it's a great place to see. And once you travel with us, you do start making new friends, and it's kind of fun to see who's going where. I definitely see trending for people wanting to go with people that they traveled with already. You also may see our concierge, and then some testimonials. But for pricing, which is what Denise was asking me, you can click on Price My Trip, or our promotion box here will always tell you what the special is. So on this particular program, we're including a free pre-night package in Luxembourg. If for a single occupancy, that would be worth $499. And then because of Denise and my, working together, and, trying to find the best departures where we are able to waive the single supplement on this particular cruise, premium members on the category P, which is the top deck, the cabin that Denise showed you, you save $2,000 on your cabin. So if you were ready to go, you would just click book now, and you'd be able to make your reservation. So I wanted to go back one space to show you all the Avalon departures. We have 2 more departures, 2 this year, and then next summer we've got another cruise that's from Prague to Budapest. And Denise and I are working on a Bucharest to Zagreb next August, with 2 nights in Transylvania. And then in 2024, we are going to do a full ship charter on the Mekong. We did it in 2017, and we are going to take over that vessel again. We'll be announcing that in the next month or so. And so premium members, stay tuned, because you are first to find out when there's a new deal out there. And we're very excited to announce that. So it was going to be in 23, but I twisted Denise's arm, and we're going to get a full ship charter for 2024, and that we're going to announce that very soon, so we have a chance to fill it.
And that one, Tammy, that you're talking about, the Lower Danube, that's the one I just did in April with my friends. It was truly amazing. I've heard people say that river maybe save that one for the last river after you did the Danube and the Rhine and it's not so scenic. I have to say it was one of my favorite river cruises. You do Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania. It was amazing, absolutely gorgeous. You go through this whole area that's called the Iron Gates, and it's like these fjords and all these rock formations. And then Transylvania, Romania, I mean, that's a whole ski area, ski resort area. And you go to Dracula's Castle and you have dinner at the base of Dracula's Castle. It's a pretty cool itinerary.
All right, thanks for bringing it to life. So Denise, how many river cruises have you done so far?
Oh, I've done them all now, I can officially say, except
Wow.
except we don't have the Douro, but we're coming out with it soon. So that is one that I have not done that I would like to do.
Oh, that's great. And we look forward to that one too. Does
Yes.
anybody have more questions for us?
Questions, but I got one or two things. You mentioned where the city where the Rhine and the Moselle come together.
Koblenz.
Koblenz, yeah. That remind me of Passau, the dry Fusselstadt, where
Oh,
the
yeah.
Danube, the Ill, and the Inns come together. Yeah.
Yeah. And that Koblenz is such a beautiful town too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of cool how they meet. You can see, depending on how the light is, you can see the different colors of the rivers.
And
Kind
you
of
know,
ironic. For dinner tonight, I grilled me up some brat, sauerkraut, and potatoes. Talking about Germany.
Exactly.
there you go. There you go. Wonderful memory.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Denise. I'm going to
Bet.
share for just a second and I'm going to stop the recording. And so if you're watching this on YouTube, on our YouTube station, thanks for joining us. And we hope to see you sometime on the river cruise with Singles Travel International soon.